everybody, this is RBR Short Films 13, aka Ryan, and today I'm doing a video of talking about my Scream fan film series, and just the whole experience of how it's been this past 10 years of making these movies. I'm done making the Scream fan films now, and that was such a big part of my life on YouTube and in general, and I wouldn't say it was like an addiction, more so than I was so drawn to the story and the characters. And I love the Scream movies so much. When I grew up, I was like, I want to make a Scream fan film. And yeah, and so I just had a really amazing experience with these movies, but also I had a bad experience with this movie. I mean, with these movies. So with the series, it's had highs and lows, and it's been quite a challenging franchise series, whatever you call it. And I was just upset that Hollywood wasn't really doing anything with Scream, you know. And at the time, there wasn't the Scream show, because I came up with the original title for my movie was called Scream Junior, which was basically, it was like a Scream film, but like as if it was all kids. And because I was 13 and 14 then, you know, I wanted to tell a story that the characters were young, you know, rather than teenagers. And I wanted to do something different with the Scream fan series, where it's either teenagers that are 14, or they're, you know, adult characters. You know, it's never like high school characters that you really see in the movies, because to me that's like boring, because it's been done before with Scream. I've seen it, you know, and it just I wanted to do something new and exciting. And so, but when I was writing the script, I was writing the script in Chicago too. I remember my grandparents were showing me all around Chicago, and I was writing Scream. You know, it was titled Scream Junior, and I was just looking around Chicago and was just in the mood typing. And I changed it eventually later to The Haunting of a Ghost Face, and then I made a sequel to it right after, which was Revenge of a Ghost Face. And then I did then I wrote and directed two other films of the series, which was Destiny of a Ghostface Part 1 and the Destiny of a Ghostface Part 2. So it was like one story split into two films because it was so long. So that was challenging, because I filmed those films back to back. I never filmed movies back to back ever. Like, you know, one day I was playing Kyle, you know, my wig and, you know, a mess. And then 1 hour later, I'm filming a scene of me as Ghostface, you know, and it goes back and forth. So I'm filming a scene of Part 2, and then I'm filming a scene of Part 1. I have to feel this way with the characters, this way. I have to direct an actor this way. The tone of this movie is different than the tone of this film. So it was a very challenging process, but I learned a lot. And that was when I was all in high school. I remember a lot of it was heavy on me, because I was when I was in high school, there was so much going on. So it was very intense. But then I think because of the Marvel world and all, you know, Avengers and like, and then Alien vs. Predator and Freddy vs. Jason, I grew to love crossover films so much that I wanted to make Ghostface vs. Jason. And that idea I came up with right after I completed Destiny of Ghostface Part 2, which I didn't think I would come up with that kind of storyline right away. But I wanted to make a Friday the 13th fan series, but because there were still things I had to wrap up, like with Casey's character, I wanted to make another movie, and a lot went on with that movie. So things that I couldn't do for that film, I did for the Miner vs. Jason and Ghostface story. And so those movies were incredibly challenging and had reshoots, but they were amazing. I mean, like the people I worked with, they were so supportive and awesome. And to think I had more fun making crossover big movies, slasher films, rather than just the standalone Scream fan films was wowing to me because you think making a solo Scream fan film would be easier, but it's actually harder than a big movie with Jason Voorhees and My Bloody Valentine, The Minor Killer, and Ghostface, and just all those characters in one movie. I don't know. It kind of makes it more fun. You kind of can tell different stories all at once. It's kind of like this package, where it's like 3 movies in one, and it's really cool. But I'm grateful for the experiences of those movies, but I went through a lot of hell making them. I went through a lot with a lot of actors with those movies. A lot of people dropped out, and I had to recast and recast. A lot went on with these movies that you guys don't even know. Like, this was, if you guys saw all the behind the scenes of these movies, you guys would be like, how did you edit, these movies to make it look that way? Now, there wasn't any drama really going on with Ghostface versus Jason or Minor versus Jason, and the Destiny of the Ghostface films. They were not too much drama was going on when I was filming those movies, so that went well. It's just my stress level was really bad then. But the first 2 films, Haunting of the Ghostface and Revenge of the Ghostface, were really hard, and a lot of drama went on. And I think because I was a teenager, and I was working with a bunch of kids, and it is not easy. Even when you're 14 and you're directing other 14-year-olds, it's like, it's like directing a Hollywood movie. Like, it's harder than anything I've ever directed. Was those 2 films for sure, because you're working with so many young people and they have to bring a certain performance, and it was very tough to get certain acting out of everybody. So that was extremely challenging. And my budget, like I didn't have a job yet or anything like that, so I couldn't save up any money for like props and stuff. Like, I only could get the props I could get, at the time, whatever my parents could afford when I was that young. And I appreciate my mom for all her help. She with her Amazon account, she bought all these movie props and fake knives and fake foot and a bunch of movie stuff. And I'm grateful for that because that helped with the movies quite a bit. I ran into, here's a big thing though, guys, pay attention to this. Google has kind of messed up my channel a lot. I think, I don't know if it's a conspiracy, but it's like I drop subscribers and then I gain subscribers, and the amount of views total of my videos, it always remains like 500,000 with total of all videos, which it should be made way more than that. I've been on YouTube for almost 10 years, and I have videos that are like over 100,000 views. So I would think that at least I would have 1 million views by this point, and I would have at least 2,000 subscribers. But I think because Google, they want to promote the channels they want to promote, is why I'm not as popular as I could be with my channel. So anybody that supports me, if you guys are watching my videos, please comment. I need comments, because if you guys aren't commenting, then I don't think I'm making entertaining enough videos. And if I'm not, then please tell me, rather than watching my channel die out, because this could be a great channel. All my movies and stuff. Like, I don't want to let you guys down. I don't give up like that. I mean, these movies mean the world to me. And these characters and everything. But the thing is with Google is they audio swapped all my first 4 Scream fan films. So what I learned with Ghostface versus Jason and The Minor versus Jason to do your own music. So I had my sister and her friend Chris do the music for both films, and thankfully to them, I never have to worry about copyright. And that's why those 2 films have so many views and so many likes and responses, because they're not blocked in other countries. The issue with the first 4 Scream fan films, they're blocked in all countries, and it's all due because of copyright music that's like a little 30-second thing, and then they give you the option to remove it, but then when you remove the song, your audio never comes back. in your video. It's always just no sound, and then you have to add some stupid free songs that Google offers for your video, and I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is release rough cuts of Destiny Part 2. I'm going to release that in a new rough cut of Part 1, so you guys can see that series of how that was. The first 2 films, I'm sorry guys, it's going to be a while till I can clean up those 2 films and put them together in the sense that you guys, you know, it's not copyrighted, you guys can watch them. And eventually I'll have a website, but, you know, people take copyright material so seriously now, where it's like you have to own. You know, like they've now taken it seriously with video games. You know, like Nintendo started to, they started to complain about their games being in, from gamers. Like, it's like now gamers can't even, they have a limit with copyright too, you know, which is messed up because it's games, you know. I thought video games, you don't run into copyright, but I guess that's changed now. So Google has screwed people over, a lot of people and a lot of YouTubers. And I don't even have a partnership with Google. And what they've done to my account, I mean, the thing is I feel like I'm on the back burner, or they like, if certain YouTubers, you know, leave, they'll make my channel more popular, or they want to hide my account from a lot of people because my movies are violent. You know, they're horror films, even though they're fantasy. There's issues with violence right now, and you know, it does affect me because movies, I don't feel like, are responsible for people's actions. You know, these people that do horrible things, they do them because of people they're around, or the influence, or you know, they just made that decision. You know, I mean, you could blame media. I'd say blame more the media than film and TV. You know, even though I guess that's the media, but horror movies were an escape to me growing up as a kid. So I always thought the movies were so fun, you know, and so cool. Because there's movies that are worse than horror movies that aren't horror, that are like rated R, like Saving Private Ryan, and I remember watching as a kid, and like Rambo, like those were more disturbing to me than Friday the 13th, Halloween, you know, because it's all in the effects, if it looks real or not. And when you're a little kid, you know, you can tell. I mean, a lot of times you can tell. I could tell that something's, whenever it was fake or not. So yeah, movies that weren't horror scared me more, like big dramas, but like true story movies that my dad would show me. He thought I could handle better than horror movies, when those were more disturbing, because I get really disturbed by real life things, you know. And when it's fantasy world, it's really cool. So these Scream fan films were that escape, you know. It was that escapism, and it was an amazing escape. But a lot went into it, and I dealt with a lot of shit, a lot of drama with people. There was a lot of selfishness, there was a lot of anger, there was a lot that went on with people, a lot of emotions going on, passions. I mean, I dealt with people that just, they would say they would do the movie, and then they would never show up on set, they wouldn't do it. And then I couldn't find a backup actor. I couldn't find anybody else to play that character. And I'm like, well, what do I do? So big thing about Halloween, November 3rd, there was an actor, I'm not going to go into it, but there was an actor that was supposed to be in the movie, and I remember talking to that actor, and that actor agreed to be in it, and that actor didn't fall through, and that really upset me, because I was filming that movie in a short amount of time because I wanted to get it out for Halloween of 2016 to surprise you guys back then. And I got so mad to the point when that actor didn't fall through. I said, you know what? I'll just play the character. You know, I'll play the character, and you know, hopefully people will still like it. So I've dealt with that before, where I've had to star in my movies. Kyle, the character in the Ghostface series that I played, that was a different actor that was supposed to play him. One of my friends from school, I thought was perfect choice for that character, Kyle. And I'm really good with picking actors. So Um, I thought he would have been great, but I don't know what happened with him. He wasn't at the school anymore. I didn't see him around. I don't know what went on, but I was like, well, if he can't play Kyle this summer, then I'm going to play Kyle then in the movie. And so that's the rest is history. You know, that's why I played that character and why you see me in those films because I had no other option. I was the only backup actor. I knew that if I played Kyle, the production would go faster. I wouldn't have to look for an actor my age, and that was like the hardest thing was to find an actor, any kid that was 14 that could act. And most people that I got for my movies never acted in theater or in plays. It was all new to them. It was a lot of times it was on spot and it was editing tricks. You know, like a lot went into the series. I'm gonna make sure I'm still recording. Okay. 16 minutes in, oh my god, I'm talking for 16 minutes about these movies. I'm just glad that I'm going to be able to do my own original films now. I'm going to go back to my original work. I'm making an original movie this year, which is really exciting, and I'm actually going to be in that movie. I'm going to have a supporting role, and then I'm making a Twilight short. You know, I don't care if you guys like Twilight or not. It's one of my favorite movie franchises, one of my favorite book franchises, and if you guys don't like it, oh well, you know. But I want to explore my talent and not just do horror movies. You know, I'd like to see how it would do with another genre. And I love fantasy, I love vampires and werewolves, but basically what my Twilight short is going to be, I haven't really talked about it, but it's going to be like, I guess, Harry Potter and the Fantastic Beasts kind of thing where it's connected to, it's in the Twilight world, but there's no characters in the movie that are from the movies or the books. The characters in this movie, this fan short, are connected to characters in the books and in the movies, but they were never mentioned, and they were never in the books and the movies. So it's like a fresh start for the series, and it kind of does something new, and I'm very excited to do that. And I'm going to be bringing the Insane franchise back. I have a huge reason why, and I'm not going to talk about it now. But a few Insane fans, I don't know if they know, but I'm just not going to talk about it right now because it's too sad. But the next Insane movie is going to be like a tribute to one of the actors, and you'll see. And I think it'll be a really great movie, and yeah, I mean, I always had planned for a third Insane movie, but for a while, you know, because I made those Scream fan films, I didn't focus on the Insane franchise. But I'm gonna go back to it. I start filming Insane Cage of Madness in 2020, and that'll be coming out in 2020. And I'll be talking more about that when I'm done making these two films. So like next year, you guys will be hearing a lot more about this movie and other films. So I have all my next movies are my own original ideas, everything that I've come up with, my own ideas and stuff. So it's really exciting. Aside from the Twilight short, that's the only thing that's next. That's you know that I didn't come up with. You know, because Stephanie Meyer came up with Twilight and all that. But it's a tribute. It's a tribute to 10 years of Twilight since the first Twilight movie. And it's 3 minutes short, so it's not like a 95-minute thing or anything like that. It's just like it's bittersweet. It's 3 minutes and it's to the point, and it's to show that there's more to the Twilight world than Edward and Bella and Jacob and those characters. That there's a bigger world, and you know, and that Stephanie Meyer could have written so many books, you know. Instead, she's writing The Chemist. She wrote this book that nobody even knew came out. And now she's making a movie or a TV series about it. And people at first were talking about that it was like a Twilight crossover and stuff, but she seems to have left behind Twilight. So, you know, do whatever I want to do with the story, kind of do something creative and show people a different world of Twilight, but still that same world. And just basically, people can see Twilight through my eyes, can see it through my perspective, and how I always viewed the feel and mood of that world. And I'm still going to respect the series, though. And yeah, you guys, I'm not talking about my original movie because I don't want to spoil it. I wrote the script. Actors are already casted. We're shooting it this month. I just don't want to talk about it because, one, I don't want someone to take my idea away from me. I worry about that because it's the original idea. And two, it's going to be a age restricted movie. No kids can watch this, and if any kid watches this movie, is going to be traumatized for life. So it's for adults. It's not like nudity or anything like that, or anything like. It's violence, and violence is a huge thing right now in the industry and everything. So it's a controversial time. This film is very, for a time like now, it's very controversial, because the movie is fantasy. I hope people can remember that. This is this is fiction, and realistic fiction, and that, I just love to tell stories and my own characters, and I like to take elements of my screenwriting from real life events. I mean, from real life stories, real life, documentaries of people. I like to take that because it's more realistic. I don't have to come up with so much. Because there's always that life imitating art imitating life, and you guys will see how this movie is, but it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain because it's crazy. It's crazy. It's my craziest movie, and you guys might watch it and be like, is Ryan okay? is he completely lost himself? Like, what? But no, it's entertainment. People remember that. Please remember that, guys. This movie is going to be entertainment, and yeah, this video was just about me talking about leaving behind the Scream fan films, Friday fan films, and I will come back for a Halloween fan film because that is a promise to my fans. But just not right now. Enjoy the new Halloween movie, guys, please. I made November 3rd in 2016 for a reason, because I knew Blumhouse was going to make their Halloween film, and that you guys would get all excited for that, and I knew other people would make their fan films in that year, and I didn't want to have any competition with other people that are trying to make fan films right now. I wanted to have my own time and surprise people with it, because that was I think that was the most anticipated sequel to any of my movies from my subscribers, so. And in fact, that's my most successful, popular movie on YouTube, November 3rd. So it shows that my biggest audience is Halloween. And that surprises me, but at the same time it doesn't. I grew up in the Midwest, so I know what that feels like. The rain, the fall leaves, the all that. I grew up with that weather and that feel of how fall feels, Halloween feels. And I always loved that feeling, so I really understood Halloween. It's really not that hard to make a Halloween film. Actually, it's easier than Friday the 13th, which is weird because Friday the 13th is like even more simple. But really, you can just make a movie. You write a script and you just hire a bunch of people. You get a stunt actor to play Michael Myers. You find a location. And it can be all in one set, one place, and you can come up with something really cool. I mean, these movies are not that hard to make. You just have to really use your imagination, because Halloween was originally an independent horror movie. It wasn't meant to be a blockbuster. So because it was always low budget, it's easy to. It does feel bigger because the original felt so big, yet it was low budget. It's hard to explain, but. Yeah, I mean, I'm just happy that I'm moving forward with these projects and no longer making any Scream movies. They were just really hard to make. I had a lot of fun, but they were also really challenging, and I'm glad you guys were part of this ride. You guys got to see these movies, and I'm grateful for the experience. It was very stressful, very tiring, and that's just how it was 6 movies. It was 6 films. You know, it was 6 movies. So because it was 6 movies, oh, I mean, I can never make a franchise, any series with 6 movies. And in fact, it wasn't even my characters. These were characters that other people came up with, you know, and I was creating these stories in the worlds that they came up with, you know, and it felt always weird because even though these were my movies, these aren't my characters, so I never felt like I had the full creative say. You know what I mean? And I think what I did with the Miner versus Jason Ghostface story, I feel like it's better than what Hollywood could come up with right now in terms of those characters. But hopefully Hollywood will get their shit together and make a good make a good Halloween movie again, make a good Friday the 13th movie again, make a new My Bloody Valentine movie and introduce that to new generation. And because nobody knows who the miner is in my movie, people are like, "Who's the miner?" You know, so that was very hard to promote. You know, that you guys would pick up on that because people first thought miner. So I had to explain it to people a lot. But it was the killer from the original My Bloody Valentine movie that came out in 1981, the same year Halloween 2 came out. And I believe it was a Canadian movie. It was made in Canada. And it was just a movie I watched one day. And it was when I was making Ghostface versus Jason. I was like, what if I put the miner in it? You know, like, what? Nobody uses that character, you know, in movies. I'm like, you know, how would that be if the miner was in a story with Ghostface and Jason? How would that work? And if I experimented with that, and it turned out beautifully, you know, like it's a great story. I love the movie, and I hope people do as well. I worked my ass off, and it was never intended to be the last of the Scream movies because I could always come back. Who knows? But for right now, for a long time, this is it. This is the amount of Scream movies I'm gonna make, and whatever next films you guys see is entirely made up. I mean, you know, from my imagination. Aside from the Twilight short, so I cannot wait till you guys see my next films and where I'm gonna go with all my stories. You know, and not rehashing the same thing again and again. I'm all about coming up with new ideas constantly. So. Yeah, that's my video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. And if you guys want to rewatch my Scream fan films, cool. Comment, like, you know, and subscribe. And I will try to get out rough cuts of my first 4 Scream fan films as soon as I can. It's just because I'm making 2 films right now, I don't have the time, but I will work on that, guys, in the future. You know, it's just so much to work on. I still got bloopers to work on, gag reels, you know, all this stuff. So, behind the scenes of other things in my movies. So, a lot is in store. You know, it's just a lot of it takes time with editing. So, yeah, I'm just busy at these movies right now. So I won't be making a lot of videos this month, but next month I will, and I'll talk about the Scream show. I'll talk about season 3. Season 3. Ghostface is back, guys. Roger Jackson's back. That's a plus. Diversity. Queen Latifah. Brett Matthews. You know. Plus sides of this show, you know. 3-night event. You know. We'll see how this season goes, and I hope it's good. Everybody's been talking about it. There hasn't been a trailer yet. They keep saying it comes out in, you know, the spring. Yet there hasn't been any promotion for this show. No poster. I say this is the worst promotion I've ever seen for any TV show or any movies or anything like that. And this is Scream, you know. So who do you gotta blame? The Weinsteins. That's who you blame. The Weinstein and the whole Weinstein stuff, you know. And that's what just held all this back. So, I cannot wait till Scream season 3, though, because I'd like to see where they're going to go with the story. And yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed my video. I'll talk to you guys very soon. And keep watching my movies. Keep enjoying your guys' entertainment, your own entertainment. And uh, always comment, guys. Any questions you have about my movies or whatever, just ask. So yeah, if you guys have anybody has any strong opinions or whatever, you can post your comment. I won't get mad at you as long as you're respectful about it. That's the only way I'm gonna learn as a filmmaker. You know, if I'm doing things wrong, you guys need to let me know, because I could get those things wrong with my next movies, you know, and not even know, because I'm still learning. You know, I'm still learning as a director. I'm not, you know, a perfectionist. I'm not this. I'm not, a big director yet or anything like that. You know, I'm not there yet. You know, I'm slowly. I mean, I'm growing. You know, I'm getting there. But I'm still learning filmmaking, uh, and it's fun. It's fun to keep learning. You know, the fact that it keeps going. You know, and like I'm always learning something new about movies is always exciting. So, and movies change throughout time too. The way technology works, the way movies are shot, the way a lot of it, you know. So that's also a big thing. Is movies have changed now compared to back then, a lot. So I'm just trying to bring back the slasher genre and bring back that genre back, and that's yeah. So I hope everybody enjoyed my video. Hope everybody has a good day, and I will talk to you all very soon. All right, peace.